Just what Tolkien was missing. Good orc dads. Howdy all, I'm Adam, Renaissance Nerd, and I am so sick of this at this point, I haven't even combed my hair for this video. Hat on, let's go. I just need to get this over with because this show is mind-numbingly dumb. We are on episode 3, Rings of Power, season 2. Listen, this episode, I don't think we're going to be here very long because there's nothing to it. It's hollow, it's empty, it's a lot of fake, profound dialogue in scenes that build up to really pathetic payoff. It's like, oh, here's our obvious setup, and here's our really lame payoff. Combined with, these characters are so hollow, and especially with all the stuff with Isildur, because it's okay, we get Isildur, surprise, he's not dead! like we even thought he was dead. Everything with Isildur has zero tension because we know his fate. And that's part of the problem with this whole series. They're creating tension around all these characters many of whose fates we know. And it's just ridiculous. It's tired, it's boring, and it's just uninteresting to the nth degree. And the performances are all flat, just completely flat. Yet, as we'll see in the final shot of the episode, it's something I talked about in the previous review for episode 2. You can see glimpses of how the show should have been, of an event that should have already happened and already been portrayed if they had done everything in proper sequence, if they'd done everything in order as the lore dictates. But no, we gotta know that the orcs don't want war. We gotta know that a blind woman is better than everybody else because she has reverence for the past instead of future. We gotta know that we gotta make Numenor great again. Yes, the obvious political parallels of how they want to paint this stuff is just so blindingly obvious. And I say that on purpose. It's so obvious, it's so in your face that the power of it will blind you. It will blind you because it's so bright and clear and obvious and it hurts your eyes. This show is a disaster. We got 4 sections to go through, and a couple of them are really quick. Orcs just want to have a home. Then we've got all things Numenor. Then we've got the adventures of Isildur. And finally, we will focus on what's going on between the dwarves and Eregion and the creation of the Dwarven Rings. Either way, let's get this started. I want to get this over with as quickly as possible.
We are safe here. We have a home. Must we go to war again? You told me Sauron was dead. Let us leave him that way.
Okay, this is going to take just a couple of minutes, literally. Adar and his sons, his family, because he's the father of orcs, remember? They are now preparing for war, but one of his little dudes is saying, Father, everything's ready, but do we really have to go to war? We have a home. We're safe. Sauron is dead. Why can't we just live in Mordor? Why can't we... Orcs they just want a home. They just want a home. Story over. The orcs don't want to fight. Sauron cannot muster them in the end because they just want their home. They just want to be safe. This is ridiculous. The point of orcs in Tolkien's work is that they are irredeemably evil. Morgoth corrupted them so badly that there is no bringing them back. There isn't. I mean, people may want to crap all over the Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War series because they are massively lore inaccurate. They are. But they're really fun games. But one thing they do really well is orc culture. Orc culture in Mordor, it's kill or be killed. There is no safety. All they want to do is fight, kill, and get stronger. They don't want to have a family. Oh, look, it's an orc dad with his mom and their baby. Isn't that what you want? No, these aren't orcs. It's not how it works. This is stupid. This is trying to show the lighter and good side of the orcs, but there isn't one because Tolkien didn't create them that way. They're evil. Plain and simple. They're corrupted evil, showing that corruption can go too far. That's kind of one of Tolkien's points. Some things are corrupted to a point where there's no salvation. Gollum is the example of that in the overall arcing works of this. There's no coming back. They're not coming back for orcs. They are not good. They should not be presented in a light where, it's their truth. They just want their home and their safety. Bullshit. Adar is now going to then treat with some stupid troll, a killer of frost giants, a eater of dragon bones, this thing made up that asks where Sauron is. And then we're done. Orcs, over. We're done. Yay! Moving on. Numenor. We're back in Numenor because remember, fast travel. I can snap, I swear. Fast travel in Lord of the Rings of Power. They just left the shores of Middle-earth a minute ago, but they're already back. They got back last season so quick. They arrived home, but guess what? The old king died. Well, they died just to get back. So we're at his funeral, okay? And I guess it's the way of Numenor. Somebody, can I get a lore specialist to tell me if it's a Numenorian custom to place seashells on a casket? I just need to know. I need to know these things. Anyway, so you've got Elendil, and she's back. The one saving grace for me in this show. Fanfic sister Big Tits McGee. We love her. We loved her last season. We loved every big, round, voluptuous, full thing that she brought to this series last season. I mean, there are just two things that come to mind when I think of her, and they are just round and awesome, okay? She's back, but they have her dressed in a way where you can't see her best assets. The whole reason she's in this show is for her big tits, okay? But you can't see them anymore because they have her dressed like a grandma. And she's here, and she's talking to Elendil about, was it worth it all? Was it worth it? You can think about the death of your king, but you can't think about your loss of your son because they think Isildur's dead because he suddenly disappeared in the middle of the post-pyroclastic blast fires and smoke, yet we saw him, and a beam fell on him. We'll get to Isildur later. We'll get to that. But he disappeared, and he's dead. He's dead. Couldn't find a body. He's dead. So she's feeling pretty iffy because suddenly she's all make Numenor great again. Suddenly she's making Numenor great again. It must have happened in the 5 minutes between everybody traveling to Middle-earth and traveling back to Numenor, because we didn't get that character development last season. Anyway, she's talking about that. Then here comes Blind Queen, whose name I don't care. Remember, she's blind because a couple of sparks hit her in the face. No, she wasn't wiped out like everybody should have been in the pyroclastic blast when pathetic, limp-dicked Mount Doom was created. No, a couple little sparks from a falling beam hit her in the face, and she was blind. Yes, it's retarded, I know, but we have to accept it and move on. She wants to talk to Elendil. She needs to know what's going on. But last season, she wanted to make it a case to pretend that she wasn't blind, but suddenly everybody knows she's blind. Fine, whatever. Don't think, just consume. She wants to know what's going on, and basically Elendil tells her, political maneuvering's going on. Everybody's talking to Pharazôn. Looks like he's getting ready to make his play, but don't worry. I'm wearing my moob armor. I'm still wearing my moob armor. I will protect you, because the moob armor isn't just a bunch of pasties on plastic, all right? You will be fine. When we come back to more Numenorian goings-ons, we're in the bar, the tavern keep, wherever, and Pharazôn make Numenor great again. He's talking to his little cabal with his son, Big Tit Sister McGee, and some dude who is just there, another lord that's making friends with him that we saw earlier. And basically it's, let's make Numenor great again. How can we trust the queen? Blah, 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 blah. But Pharazôn says, hey, whoa. We can't make Numenor great again. There's not enough of us. We're a minority. But then Big Tits Sister McGee says, what if there was a secret that I know of? that you don't, that could turn everybody on the queen. And as they're talking basically treason, here comes dude from last season who was Isildur's best friend, but yet they had a fight, they made friends again, and he basically threatens Pharazôn's limp-wristed son to a fight, but they manage not to fight because, it'll look bad, and everybody goes away, and no, let's go back to our plotting. We'll come around to Queen I'm blind now because sparks hit me in the eye while she's sitting there fumbling through her father's things to get a bracelet that's the key to the secret room where the sword and the Palantir are. But here comes Pharazôn to come in and talk to her about the past and the future and how you as the queen need to make a statement on where you want to go. You can either wear the white, which shows you to be in the past, or you can wear Make Numenor Great Again red. You can wear that because that's the future and bright and this and that. And it's a bunch of hollow, fake, profound dialogue about keeping what's right, knowing how to protect people. Here's the future, here's the past. Make Numenor great again. And eventually she brushes him off and talking about, what if the Eagles show up? Because guess what? The Eagles are here. The Eagles are gonna be here. Just it's what I talked about in the intro. The lamest setup with the lamest payoff that was already spoiled in the trailer. They spoiled the scene in the trailer. We know it's coming. If you watched it, it's so sad and pathetic. So a lot of fake profound talking because she needed to protect the bracelet and get it so she can go make sure that the, I think I did this out of order. I might have done this out of, either way, it doesn't matter because while she was talking, while they were busy talking in the tavern. I don't care if I'm out of order. I don't care. I want to get this over with. I'm not re-recording this. We're powering forward. While they were busy talking, after Pharazôn leaves and they're back in the tavern talking about this stuff, she's gonna go up to her fake secret room and find that the Palantir is gone because guess who took it? It's not hard to guess who took it because she already talked about it. We're finally gonna come back later at the end of all this mess to the coronation ceremony. She's wearing her white. She's this and that. I'm wearing the white of the past. Because, the past is so pure. It's where we need to be. And she's going through the motions. We're going to do this. And somebody yells in the audience, "You're a liar!" I forgot this moment earlier where some chick slapped her and they hugged it out. But I don't care. We're moving on. I'm not re-recording this shit. "You're a liar! The queen of lies!" Somebody yells from the audience. And she turns around and says, "Listen, no, it's okay." Because the priest is like, "No, only the king or queen can talk during this." No, it's okay. We have to embrace our problems in order to grow. Don't worry, I hear you. But then you hear the shriek, the cry of the eagle. It's the eagle. The eagle arrives. And it's the sign, it's an omen of goodwill because it lands behind Make Numenor Great Again, Pharazôn. Yeah, because during all this thing, here comes Big Tits Sister McGee and says she's a liar. She wants you to know that she relies on these elven artifacts. Look, it's the Palantir. I have the Palantir. It's an elven thing. She's corrupted by the elves because they took our jobs. Remember that last season? The elves are gonna took our jobs. People are coming from the elves who took our jobs. Refugees gonna took our jobs because they have to make Numenor great again and not let the elves and the other refugees corrupt everything. You remember? I remember. You remember? So everybody turns on blind chick who got blinded with sparks from a little piece of timber falling, and Pharazôn's like, "Yes, I am your new king, ha ha!" Here's the problem with all of this. That's not how it happened in Tolkien's lore. It's not how it happened at all. Pharazôn's takeover was more of a political power move by marrying her and controlling and pushing her aside. And at least that's what my memory tells me from my research and my readings of that. Because I didn't read the Silmarillion. I didn't read that. And he is supposed to lead them down a dark path because he's supposed to then go and want to conquer Sauron and take him prisoner and bring him back and start the corruption. So it's all being done out of order and the false. It's ridiculous. And it's all a bunch of profound fakeness. But I do love Big Tit Sister McGee. She's glorious. No, it isn't glorious. Isildur's adventures in Mordor and the nearby lands.
Thank you. It's Isildur. Remember? Elven memories do not dim.
The worst part about this whole section of the show is that there's no tension. They want to set up tension that Isildur's going to be in danger. Isildur's going to have to fight for his life. Isildur's doing this. Isildur wants his horse back. When in reality, as I said earlier, there's no tension surrounding Isildur. We know exactly what his fate is. He's never in any danger. He has the biggest, thickest plot armor possibly in this show, because he has a fate that is set in stone. We started the whole episode with Elendil releasing Isildur's horse, who runs off. And the horse is going to go on its own adventures. It's going to wander around Mordor. It's going to get captured by some orcs who at one point throw a rope around its neck. It kills one of the orcs and escapes. And then miraculously in the following scene, the rope that the horse in no way, shape, or form would have been able to get off its own neck, it's gone. The rope is gone completely. So the horse is going to find Isildur in a cave in the black woods that the orcs say nobody survives the Black Forest. And it's a cave. And he finds Isildur wrapped in webs. It's a spider den. Now, of course, you guys may or may not know, if you're new here, if you don't know this, if you aren't new here, you know, I'm an arachnophobe, so I don't like anything spider-related. The horse wakes Isildur up. Isildur's trying to get free. There's another orc wrapped up there. He takes the dagger. The orc's alive, but as they come to awareness, a bunch of spider eggs, of course, start hatching, and they have to fight themselves free. And as they're doing it, here comes a large one. Is that supposed to be Shelob? Is that supposed to be Shelob? I think the show is telling us, hey, look, it's Shelob, guys. Don't you remember Shelob? So Isildur has a fight with tiny version of, well, not tiny. That's a big-ass freaking spider. Hell, I'd shit myself and run screaming into the night. But a fight with smaller Shelob, and he escapes her, and he gets away on his horse. And they're free. It's a stupid little thing. It's a member berries thing. That's all it is. Jangly Keys member berries. They get out of there. He rides around until he finds some remains of a caravan or camp or something. And while he's looking in it, he also finds a sword along the way. And he is reaching the camp, and he's looking through it, and there's a chick hiding underneath some of the remains, and she stabs him in the thigh, okay? And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I've never stabbed anybody before. And he says, I've never been stabbed. Some really bad dialogue. She pulls the knife out. He's complaining, don't pull the knife out, which is kind of right. Until you want to get attention, you don't pull it out because it's kind of keeping everything intact. But she pulls it out. They do a tourniquet around his leg. And basically they convince each other, let's help each other out. She's looking for her betrothed, or she says she's looking for her betrothed, or intended. And he's trying to get to where the Numenorians are. And she produces a map to show, look, this is where they went to their old settlement, and then they're gonna just fast travel. Remember, fast travel is this show's tried and true tool. This show's tried and used tool to get the story moving, despite the fact. So apparently, the whole time that tourniquet is held, and he's not been bleeding out, and it's not getting infected or anything. It's fine. He's perfectly fine. They get to the nice remaining lush lands outside of Mordor. They cross them. They cross the mountains. Just no problem. They cross through the mountains. No problem. Just two of them on a horse. Where did they get food? Where did they get water? We don't know. Fast travel, we're there. And they arrive on the outskirts, and they find some dude who's been attacked, or obviously he's not been attacked. It's an obvious ambush. They get ambushed. There's a silly fight where Isildur is outmatched. Girl gets, taken prisoner. But then, guess what? Everything's going to be fine, because here comes Black Legolas with his, well, it's not so tight anymore. It's a little unruly. It's not so clean-cut anymore, but him and his fade, they're there. He saves the day with his retarded freaking way of shooting a bow. Did they learn no lessons of all our mockings of that? No, this is not how you shoot a bow. It's not how you do it. It's not how it works. So he saves them, and Isildur's like, "You remember me? Yeah, I remember you. I don't want to talk. I'm depressed. Why is Black Legolas depressed? I'll tell you why. Because baby mama Bronwyn is dead. Oh, they killed her off. Now, the actress, here's the funny thing. The actress who played baby mama Bronwyn with her tits out, she left the show to go be a political activist. She left to go be an activist, so they killed her off. Do you remember how much effort they put into making her one of the greatest women's of all time last season? How she is just this great leader that's going to lead her people to glory. She's going to save them and protect them because she's an herbalist and she's a woman and she just knows things. She can understand when men are bad and women are great, and she's dead because the actress episode. Let's just not recast her. Let's just kill her off. They just kill her off. So there's a funeral pyre burial. Black Legolas is sad, and everybody's upset. And hey, look, it's Theo. Theo is there, and I can't call him Theo with his badass teenage mustache anymore because he shaved his badass teenage mustache. He shaved it off. Good job, kid. Understanding that it looked like shit. He's there, and he's sad and crying, and he's gonna stitch up Isildur. So apparently, Isildur managed to go for all this time with that wound not getting infected or nothing like that. So kid's just going to stitch him up, and he's magically fine. His limp that he had is gone. He's walking normally now. Just less than 24 hours later, great, fine, beautiful. He's stitching him up, and we're going to get a moment here where, what are we going to do, this and that, don't worry, thanks, whatever. More fake profound dialogue, just talking about, why are you here, you're a great healer, no, my mother was the healer, blah, blah, blah. Trying to have us have emotional connection to characters we don't give two silly shits about. Right, so we've got then Black Legolas and Theo, without his badass teenage mustache, they're having a talk about what are we going to do now. We have to keep forward. And Black Legolas is going to try and tell him, keep your mother's spirit. I remember your mother. We have to get strong together. We can lean on each other. And the kid flat out says to him, I didn't know my father. Did you know my father? No, I didn't know your father. Kid says, I didn't know my father, but I know he's not you. I know he's not you. Therefore, we never need to talk again. Now, have they kind of, because they had to kill off baby mama Bronwyn with her tits out, because they had to kill her off, does that mean they changed it from the kid being a half-breed to him being just a regular human? Have they changed it? I wonder if they changed that, because without her for that particular storyline, it would fall apart. I mean, not like it wasn't going to fall apart anyway, but it makes it even harder to do without her there to play off the two being an estranged dad and his half-breed son. So I wonder if they changed it, or I wonder if that's still going to go forward. We'll find out, maybe, I don't know. Either way, the kid's trying to fill up a bucket of water, and he learns that it's not just a well, but an aqueduct from Isildur, because he's like, wait a minute, it's not an aqueduct. We build these things in Numenor, but men can't build these things, but we do in Numenor. Well, why don't you go back there? Well, I can't, because I need my horse. I need my horse. Can you help me get my horse back? Can you help me get my... Isildur's obsessed with getting his horse back. So Theo, without his badass teenage mustache, says, yeah, sure, come back here tonight. We'll go get your horse. So we come back later in the night, and there's chick that Isildur brought along with him, tending a fire. She's heating a knife. So you're thinking, she needs a knife to heat something. So the thoughts are a couple reasons, and the one or two reasons you might think is true. Anyway, so he comes along, or she's sitting there, and they have this big, fake, profound discussion about mothers and memories and carrying on what the mothers wanted, sacrifice, because we know last season that Isildur's mother drowned, and nobody wants to talk about it. Well, it turns out she did drown, but she drowned because he swam out too far and got caught by a riptide, and she saved him, but she drowned. Okay? It's some that's some dark, horrible secret nobody should know. It's really sad and lame and pathetic. Either way, she tells him that, listen, don't feel negative about your mother's death and that she sacrificed herself for you, because it was her one great thing to make sure that you lived to survive, to grow up and be strong and this and that. And he's going, oh, I guess you're right because I love my mom. It's fake profound bullshit. It's stupid. And Theo, without his badass teenage mustache, is standing there crying, listening to it. Then he says, oh, I'm here. Hi, Isildur. Let's go get your mom. Let's go get your horse now. So they go out to the forest to find the dudes because Theo magically knows where the dudes are that have his horse. And Theo is going to distract them while Isildur takes his horse back. And he shows the part of where the sword that was the key to open the dam to make Mount Doom marked him. And he's trying to show that, hey, he's trying to distract the brigands that he's part of Adar's forces. They all have Adar's branding tattoos. And they don't believe him. They start a fight. And what happens, though, is Isildur maybe throws an axe to save him, but suddenly the dudes all start dying. And it's, in a second, by the end of it, pretty goddamn obvious that guess who Isildur and Theo, without his badass teenage mustache, have found? They found the Entwives. It's the Entwives who Tolkien specifically never mentioned what happened to in all his writings. But Theo, without his badass teenage mustache, and Isildur have found the Entwives who saved them from the brigands. And that's the end of Isildur's adventures in Mordor and the forests with spiders and Entwives, oh my. Okay, we're done. Let's talk Sauron, Celebrimbor, and the dwarves.
I'm sorry. Who exactly are you?
Yes, forgive me. This is a friend. The elves. And to the dwarves. Nothing more.
This will not take very long either, but it is perhaps the most offensive thing in this episode, to me at least, as a storyteller, as a writer. We pick up where actually the last episode left off, where Durin the Fourth and Sith Lord Disa have been invited to Eregion to treat about making some dwarven rings. Anyway, Celebrimbor and Sauron gonna have a big old discussion with them about, hey, let's make the rings just like it saved the elves with their magical Viagra power to give them tree boners. They are now going to use their dwarven rings to save the mountains. All right, that's the pitch. And Disa, she's a Sith Lord, so she's all for it. She wants this shit. She wants that mountain boner. Durin the Fourth, he's not into this. He's something's off about this, because here comes Sauron as Anatar, trying to deceive him too, trying to get in his head. But he says, "Hey, where's my boyfriend Femron? I don't see my boyfriend Femron anywhere around here." And Anatar Sauron says, "Oh, he had to go off to Lindon. Don't worry, he's over there making sure everything's fine. But he told me he wants to help you. He wants you to let me help you, because we're good buddies too." Now, Durin the Fourth, he ain't having any of it, but guess what? Celebrimbor and Sith Lord Disa, they're all for it, and they're going to talk him into it, even as they're leaving. Disa's going to read him the writing. She's picking up her girl bossing exactly where she left off with last episode, telling Durin the Fourth that he needs to shut up and listen to her. He needs to shut up and needs to go tell his father what's going on, even though he doesn't want to go apologize to his father. So she bullies him into doing it. So while Sith Lord Disa and Durin the Cuck are heading over to talk to Durin the Third, we're going to have a nice little quick scene where Sauron Anatar can go and deceive Celebrimbor some more, because guess what? We got to show him deceiving, and it's more of the insulting thing that they could have been doing this for an entire season instead of just stupiding in for a minute right here. Because no, we don't count Halbrand's deception last season because he wasn't Anatar. He was Halbrand, created to plow Galadriel. This is a complete and utter disrespect to everything, because it shows they could have figured it out and done it right in the first place. So basically, Celebrimbor is getting sold a bill of lies from Sauron Anatar when he says, "Oh, well, we have to be careful. Gilgalad doesn't want any more rings made." So now Celebrimbor is going to go about writing letters to tell Gilgalad, "Hey, don't worry, I'll be there soon. We're not making any more rings," because he cannot be stifled from making his ultimate creations anymore. Because remember, last episode, he was told by Anatar Sauron that he's going to be the Lord of the Rings. Back to Khazad-dûm, and he's going to be down there. The King Durin III, he's getting ready to hear petitions about grain reserves, but then here comes Durin IV, and he apologizes, and yay, they're happy. He's like, I was wrong. I shouldn't have insulted you. Can we talk now? I have something to tell you. So he tells him about it, that Eregion, that Celebrimbor needs the mithril in order to make the rings that can save everything. But he tells him, says, listen, Dad, I know we just reconciled, but you got to listen to me. This is a bad idea. It's a really, really bad idea. I got the heebie-jeebies about this. We don't want this anymore. We shouldn't have this. We need to find our own path. We let the elves do the elves. The elves be elves. We should not have anything to do with it, even though I love my boyfriend Femrond, okay? But we shouldn't have anything to do with it. But guess what? King Durin III, he don't listen. Because now we get back and we see, here we go. They had the forge ready to go because we saw it before during the conversations. They had the forge to make the dwarven rings. They're ready to make it. And here we are. Durin III says, here's the mithril. Take it. Celebrimbor takes it, and before he can put it in the smithing pot, where he can drop it in there, where the alloys are melting together. Because remember, Sauron had to teach the master smith last season about alloys. Sauron takes it. It's very important, and it is actually a good moment, and that's why this is the most insulting thing to me about this entire episode. Sauron takes the mithril, and he's the one that holds it in his hand and obviously puts his icky, sticky black taint on it, and then he drops it in the pool. And then the melted metal, it spreads out to make the rings. Oh, it's been tainted. And then it's episode over. But this is why this is so bad. This is why I'm most insulted by this scene. Why didn't they do this in order? This would have worked if you had done it first, instead of wasting time and altering the lore to make the elven rings first. It's this scene actually works. I'm giving praise. This scene actually works. But it works because it looks like the actual lore, but then it's broken because it's out of place in the timeline. None of it is working at all because of that. And you may be sucked in for a moment, realizing, oh shit, it's actually cool watching Sauron corrupt the mithril and put it in the alloy melt and have it spread out to make the dwarven rings, which are now going to go corrupt the dwarves, because the elven rings weren't tainted because he never had any part of making them. But now we're looking at the rings that he does have a part in making in, where he poisoned the rings of the dwarf lords, where he poisons the rings that goes to the 9 kings of men to make the Nazgul. He actually has a hand in that, and then he'll secretly make the One Ring. That is working, but then you realize they've done it all out of order, and then for it, none of it makes sense. It's all out of whack. And they knew it. They can make a scene like this knowing how it's supposed to look and feel. But they couldn't do it right from the beginning because they had to do it their own way. All because they had to create Halbrand Sauron so he can plow Galadriel. So, all right, we're done. This is episode over. I told you, there's nothing to this episode. A lot of hollow talking. Let's get out of here. We're finished. All done. Nothing else to say. I kind of made my points like I did with the last review during each segment. I have no roundup, no recap, no nothing. This show, 3 episodes in, is already lore-breaking, boring, fake profound dialogue garbage. There's nothing really entertaining about it. They can't even correct their past mistakes. How hard would it have been? Because we've seen in trailers coming up that they're going to make the elven armor for the Battle of Eregion, the Siege of Eregion, they're going to make that look good. That actually will look good. But they couldn't get rid of the Numenorian moob armor, and they even expanded it. Other guys in the Numenorian Guard, they're wearing the moob armor too. It's ridiculous. It's lame. They just can't fix their mistakes. They don't realize it's mistakes. They don't realize that showing us an actual cool creation of Sauron tainting rings is actually cool to see, but that it's ruined because it just proves they knew they could have done better. They knew they could have. It's a disaster. It's done. We've got another 5 weeks. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 weeks to go of this dog shit. Every Thursday, you can catch my reviews going forward. But starting tonight, if you're watching this on the day as I drop this, Saturday, every Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, come back here or go to Jed's channel, The Hollywood Scholar. We're simulcasting it. Join us for This Is Mordor Country. This is Mordor Country, man. We have a panel. We're going to go through every episode. We're going to discuss it. We're going to suffer and lose our minds for your entertainment. So join us starting tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, every Saturday for This is Mordor Country until this entire series is over. Until then, guys, take it easy. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade, and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.